All right, so we're going to move on to misconception number 4. This misconception is that over time people outgrow specific learning disabilities. Um, it's kind of interconnected with the next piece, and I'll explain as we keep going here. Um, the so people think that like you spend more time on something, you're gonna get better at it, which is true, but it doesn't change the fact that certain processes are more difficult for students with specific learning disabilities, so they cannot outgrow that, right? Like if reading or processing, right, listening and processing, um, like listening comprehension, if we can work on it, but we can't necessarily just be as good at it as someone who is maybe neurotypical, right? So um, the one thing with this, the caveat with it is we need to put tools in place so that students can learn how to live with it, right? Really, it should be just a small barrier where if we're effective as teachers, over time, we show them the result or the different tools and resources they can have to support them. Additionally, in this technological age, I think it's a lot easier to have those supports kind of ingrained already within our society, and especially within your teaching practices. I think we should always have UDL in mind and thinking about all the kids in our class. And with students with SLD, honestly, a lot of things are very easy to help them with. Additionally, we have things in place to protect students with specific learning disabilities, really any disability as they move on to college or workplace or whatever. That'd be Section 504 under the Rehabilitation Act. This puts safeguards in place regarding those disabilities, regarding those accommodations. So I kind of want to focus on A, this is a false statement, right? And B, what we can do to move forward with it and effectively teach our students what they need and teach them those skills so they can bring them into adulthood. So, first, I'm going to start with the research on the misconception. This is the National Library of Medicine. So, if we look at this, basically, the result of this is no, you can't outgrow it. You can adapt to it. You can do different things, but that is something that will always be there, at least as best as we can, depending on what the disability is. Not all things are necessarily protected as students move on. That's going to be kind of a case by case basis. So, one of the things that I guess we really want to touch on is that there are resources out there for these kids. So higher education accommodations. So this is a little bit of research on the effectiveness of different tools within higher education. This shows pretty much that all these students can achieve. If we go through, I'm not going to go through it all. These students can achieve kind of no matter what the level, higher ed, high school, middle school, whatever. But they're going to need some of these accommodations because they're not going to outgrow them, but they can learn how to use them and be successful in whatever they're doing. So here's another place where you can see some popular or some things at Stevens Point actually that come with as far as software, technology-based things that are available at the university. Once again, covered under Section 504. So I guess since we get into that, we will jump right into Section 504. This is just the legal fact sheet. Actually, a lot of workplaces, you can see this hung up in a lot of workplaces wherever you are. So basically, it says that you cannot discriminate against anyone with a disability if a student maybe struggles with reading and they're going to college and they require text-to-speech, speech-to-text, whatever that might be. By law, they are required to provide those things because under Section 504, that would be discrimination against a disability group. So it's important for your kids to know that. It's important to be very intentional about the things that we select for accommodations and how we write them into the IEP. So once again, couple different workarounds. Here's the Kurzweil. Someone did their project on this. It was really good. But the Kurzweil is a very similar to Glean, like a note-taking type of thing. This is what's offered at Stevens Point. So if you want to check that out, that did seem actually a little bit better than Glean. So that is something you can check out. So kind of to wrap it all up, the misconception that people can outgrow specific learning disabilities is not true. Instead, we should really focus on what supports we can put in place so that they can be successful. Because the reality is these kids can be successful. It's on us to provide the appropriate, put the appropriate things in place for them to be able to be successful.